Why are you smiling, man? What's so funny?
Who's talking to?
No, you're never smiling. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com NBA strategy show presented by No House Advantage. I am your host, Dave Loughran, at Loughy_D on the Twitters, LOUGHY_D. For those of you who are listening in podcast form, joining me, Adam Scherer at Ship My Money DFS over on the Twitter sphere as well. What's good, bro? 11 games today.
Yeah. Nice change from yesterday, I guess. But it was nice taking the day off yesterday. So ready to get back into it.
Yeah, man. And Dave DeRemer, what's up, dude? You've been crushing those parlays lately. Love to see it. Love to see it. Little help with some betting content over on the odds channel, maybe oddshopper.com as well. But yeah, just some sick parlays. Been making things happen. Also, just want to throw this out there as we start the show off. Chris Karen just told me that we are 37 subscribers away from 75,000. We're almost there, which means, Jordan, we must have gained like 60 something just yesterday alone. So good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. Be part of history here. And if you want to join, hit that join down below. You get the free super chats each month, the custom emojis, those sweet badges that you see in chat. Some people iced up with the 12-month, the 1-year badge. We'll always prioritize your questions, your comments, along with our premium Discord members. And we're doing some fun stuff for members too, like the March Madness bracket we did and some other stuff. Anyway, we got a lot of games, Adam. So I say we dive into this. Really spend some time on the games that are most important here. On 11 games, you and I say it all the time. You're going to get a lot of games. It's odd, but it's the way it works, where with 11 games, sometimes you can actually get through it quicker.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time on 11-game slates, you get to the end and it's like, oh, wow, that didn't take nearly as long as we thought.
Yeah, there's just some games that you're not going to be talking much about. We did get an ownership ranking or an ownership update. Ownership rankings for NBA are free today. PGA rankings are free. NHL player rankings are free. So let's make it happen. Glad you guys are here hanging out on a Wednesday morning. And it's time to do it. Yeah. The Dwight Howard thing. I hear you guys. That happens with that team. And sometimes it just doesn't play.
Yeah, suddenly Trevor Ariza plays 23 minutes because why not?
Yeah. And Luka has 75 fantasy points in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't paying any attention to NBA, but I saw the tweet that Luka had like a 30-point triple-double like 5 minutes into the second half.
Great. Yeah, it's great. Also, someone just fire Doc Rivers into the sun. just get rid of this guy, man.
He's just getting you ready for all the stupid decision making in the playoffs.
100%. That one guy that tweeted us when I was tweeting about Doc. He's like, "Yeah, but playoff basketball coaches don't matter." And I was like, "Yeah, tell that to the guy that's blown more 3-win series than anyone in the history of basketball as a head coach in the playoffs."
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that playoff basketball is like the one time coaches actually kind of do matter.
I'm assuming what he meant, and I get it, like your starters are playing a ton of minutes.
Sure.
But you still have to coach. Like you still have to draw up good plays on the final possession in a 1-possession game of the postseason, right? Like you still need to figure out ways to slow down a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not stop him, but slow him down. There's a lot of things that go into coaching, and Doc just seemed. It's funny because like everyone has figured out how to play with Harden at the helm now. Like Tobias Harris looks way better. Maxey looks good. Doc's like still the only one scratching his head still.
I can't figure out how to use James Harden.
That's crazy. All right. But like you said, Milwaukee's a better team. What I was saying though, is when you're the Sixers and you blow a double-digit lead early in the fourth quarter because you have a lineup out there. First of all, the Bucks big three were out there on the court. Harden and Embiid weren't out there, and you can't put Thibault out there as your best perimeter defender because he can't score. So if you don't have scorers out there, you can't have Thibault. So your two best defenders are off the floor in Harden and Matisse Thibault. Embiid's off the floor, and you wonder why you're getting ravaged because Giannis is just running through DeAndre Jordan, and you're relying on like Furkan Korkmaz and Shake Milton to keep it close.
Yeah. Also, why is DeAndre Jordan still playing?
I mean, look, that's Oddly enough, that's the least of our concern right now. All right, Dallas playing on the second of a back-to-back. They're coming into Cleveland, who will be without. I'm sorry. My fault. Let me start with Denver and Indy. All right, Jordan, I got you, man. I got you. I want to get my head cut off over here. Denver 9.5-point favorites against the tanking Pacers. We'll get into that injury news in a second, but right now we'll kick it off with the Denver Nuggets, starting with Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon just came out of nowhere the other day, had like 15 points in the first 9 minutes of that game. But Jokic is one of many top tier players on tonight's slates, although it is a very, very good matchup.
Yeah, Jokic has just drawn a couple of premier matchups back to back. He got the Charlotte one the other day. Now you get Indiana. I mean, he should just absolutely shred this team. They're so bad right now. They have no sort of front court, defense, rebounding, really anything. So absolutely love Jokic. I think that goes without saying. Beyond that, it is a good spot for guys like Barton, Gordon, Morris. But kind of the same thing that we've always said about these guys on the bigger slates, especially this time of year. You're just probably going to find enough good plays that you don't really end up getting to a whole lot of anyone outside of Jokic.
That's where I'm at too. Now, Indy's at least somewhat interesting because we're waiting on news. But first off, even are the prices on Indy now to a point where like even is Brogdon? We have him out.
He's questionable, but
we don't expect him to play. Yeah,
right.
So Chris Duarte's out. Isaiah Jackson's questionable. Goga Batadze is questionable. Even with Malcolm Brogdon out of our projections, it's still a team that is really not getting any love whatsoever. And I think a lot of that just comes down again to the fact that prices are starting to reflect the tanking.
Yeah, the prices have certainly adjusted. I do think that if Goga plays at 5,900, that's still a decent price tag. But even that, like, you're not in love with it. You're not going out of your way to jam in a ton of Batadze, but it's still a decent price tag. Same can be said for $7,300 Buddy Hield with shooting guard, small forward eligibility. I think they look like the top two guys to me from Indiana, but still neither one looks like a true priority. If Goga is out, then $6,100 Jalen Smith starts to look better. I guess if Goga and Isaiah Jackson are out, actually Isaiah Jackson's not on the injury report anymore. So, oh no, he is. I missed him. Yeah. So if they're both out, then Terry Taylor starts to look a little better at 4,400. But assuming those guys are in, like if we assume the questionable guys other than Brogdon are in, to me it's kind of just taking some shots at Batadze and Hield, and that's pretty much about it.
And I will say this much: Tyrese Halliburton is $7,600 on FanDuel.
Yeah, totally different price on FanDuel than
like that's just stupid. He's a great play on FanDuel.
Yeah, it's almost like he should just be priced right in between where the sites have him, because on DraftKings, like obviously he's really good, but on DraftKings it's just still so difficult to get to him at 9,700, and then on FanDuel he's just kind of a no-brainer. So it's like, yeah, everybody's gonna be there.
Yeah, and obviously assuming Brogdon's out, but still 7,600 is crazy. He's getting 21% there.
1.15 really FanDuel points per minute without Brogdon.
How much?
1.15 FanDuel points per minute.
Yeah, and he's still playing big minutes. He still played 40 minutes last game in a game they lost by 9, and they were down big all game. So that's definitely an appealing spot, but way different on DraftKings and FanDuel. On DraftKings, it's going to be difficult, really difficult to get there. Now with Dallas, they're playing their second of a back-to-back, 3.5-point favorites against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're already getting into two of the highest priced, most elite players in the first two games. Luka Doncic, I'm not worried about a back-to-back here. He's definitely, played 30 minutes last game, effortlessly. It's a word I have very difficult time saying. But a 213 total going up against, two very slow-paced teams. Usually Dallas is getting a nice pace-up spot. In this case, Cleveland still plays pretty damn slow too.
Yeah, I prefer Jokic to Luka if you can get there, but this is definitely a situation where you can't go wrong really. Luka still looks very good. If you do end up getting a big ownership gap between him and Jokic, then it makes him look good in tournaments as well. Right now we have Jokic getting like 12 to 13% ownership on DraftKings, Luka getting around 8 to 9%, but those numbers probably go up as we get more value throughout the day. So yeah, I mean Luka looks good, but clearly not as good as he did last night, given that his salary has jumped $600 overnight, and it's just a less appealing spot against Cleveland than you had against the Lakers.
I don't see anything on an 11-game slate for Dallas that's even remotely appealing outside of some Luka Doncic. Nothing.
No, me neither.
Do you think with Cleveland we are going to get like legitimate value here? Now, Markkanen's not on the injury report, which is good. He did leave last game and then returned. He's 6,500. We have 8 guys projected for ownership. Dean Wade's out for the year, or for any ownership, I should say. Dean Wade's out for the year. Jared Allen's still out. Evan Mobley's been ruled out. Kevin Love feels like the obvious answer here. It's a tough matchup, but he is the type of guy that can put up big numbers if you give him the minutes.
Yeah, and I expect him to get the minutes with Mobley out. He played 32 minutes against, what was it, Toronto when he started. Last game, Mobley got hurt in the first half. Love started the second half, ended up getting to 32 and a half minutes. So there's no reason that you should be looking at Kevin Love and like be skittish that, they're going to limit his minutes or something like that. So I expect him to be getting, low 30s in minutes. 6,900 is a pretty good price tag for him. He's a solid point per minute guy, well over a fantasy point per minute. Him being out there does cut into, it replaces Mobley's rebounding numbers, but also probably cuts into guys like Markkanen a little bit too, because we know Love is a good rebounder. He's a higher usage guy than Mobley, so takes a little bit away from Garland now that he's playing with Love and with LeVert. But at 10-2, I wasn't going to be that interested in Garland one way or the other. I think Love looks good. I think you can get to some Karis LeVert at 5,900. He's been playing big minutes since joining the starting lineup. Played another 33 last game and would have probably played more if he had closed. They closed with Dylan Windler and Lamar Stevens.
I was going to ask you about that. LeVert and Love weren't in the closing lineup.
Yeah, I don't know. I had assumed it was a blowout, but it was a 6-point win, and Okoro, Garland, and Markkanen all closed. So I don't know what happened there. I don't expect it to happen again.
They were down by a point or two when they made that change, and then they pulled away, which was, really weird. But yeah. I agree. I don't expect that to happen again. Plus, Kevin Love played 32 minutes off the bench, so it's a good spot. Do you want to get to any other bigs here, or anybody else on the Cavs?
No, I think it's just Love and LeVert that look the best.
Okay. Keep it moving. See what I mean? We can get through this concise but comprehensive and get things done. Orlando +3 against Washington. Also, Wizards on a back-to-back. Got smoked yesterday by who the hell? I don't even remember.
Chicago.
Oh, the Bulls. Yeah, 219 total. Suggs is out. Wendell Carter Jr. is out as well. So taking him out of the front court, easily the most productive player. Hey, to Chuma Okeke, like, do we have to go back? Do I really have to go back to Chuma Okeke today?
You don't have to. It's an 11-game slate. You're going to have plenty of options, but he does look like a good value piece at 5,100. He's likely to play into the mid-30s. He's around a 0.85 fantasy point per minute guy. So, and it's a good spot against Washington. So I'm fine going back to Okeke. Obviously he was really bad the last time that he was in this spot. And if you went to him, but no real reason not to get back to him. Cole Anthony sees a little bit of a usage bump. Franz Wagner looks a little bit better. Don't think either one of those guys is like a true priority, but I think they are a little bit underpriced. And then we kind of know what we're getting with RJ Hampton too, where he's $3,800. He's likely to play a bunch of minutes. He's not a good point per minute guy, but assuming he plays low to mid 30s at 3,800, he's still going to project as a good value. What
about Mo Wagner?
Yeah, I think that in tournaments he makes some sense. I wouldn't play him with Bamba, but I think that but both of those guys really in tournaments, like on average, I think they're just kind of correctly priced with Bamba at 6K and with Mo Wagner at 4,500. But if Bamba plays more minutes than we expect, he's going to look really good. And same goes for Mo Wagner, because they're both good point per minute guys. It's not a Washington front court that you are concerned about taking guys against. So it's more so tournaments than anything else for me, but I do like the ceilings for those guys.
Paul DZ, welcome to Team Awesemo, bro. Nice to have you here. Badge looks good. You know what I noticed, Jordan? The badge that he has and the one that shows up on the screen are different. I'm telling you right now, there's a bronze badge that pops up. And then his is the silver badge. Just saying. Just saying. It's good to be consistent. It's good to be consistent. Yeah. That's okay. No one else is paying attention to that but me. But welcome, Paul. Glad to have you part of the team. Washington.
So Arcathels has said, isn't this a Mo revenge spot? It is. And also, if you want to play the narrative game, it's homecoming for Markel Fultz. Just putting that out there so that when Fultz goes nuts in 20 minutes, I can say I called it.
Homecoming, you said?
Yeah, he's from here. No, he's from here. He went to Washington for college. He went to DeMatha for high school.
Oh yeah? You think he cares about that?
I mean, it's a friends and family game.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he cares, but
okay.
I mean, he probably cares, but I don't think it matters for fantasy.
In case.
If we were going to talk about Mo Wagner revenge, I figured we should talk about Fultz friends and family game.
You know who had a big friends and family game was against the Sixers? Bones Highland had his entire family and had a big game. The reason they won that, it wasn't Jokic. I mean, Jokic was good, but it was old Bones Highland. You know what his real name is?
Nashawn.
Nice. Surprised you knew that.
Yeah.
Washington, Kristaps Porzingis, second of a back-to-back again today. He did play 32 minutes in a back-to-back last time out, so he has been playing them. Unless you see him just rest him because it's the Wizards and it doesn't matter. There's that. But do we want to go back to him on an 11 gamer? The price is starting to get a little bit high.
Yeah, the price is creeping up. It's still a good spot for him, and he's still a very good point per minute guy, especially without Kuzma, but really regardless. So I do still like him in tournaments. I mean, I assume he's at a price point where I don't expect him to be like massively popular or anything. Right now, we have him projected for 17% ownership. I think that's reasonable. We have, him coming in a little bit over owned, but I still think it's a good spot, assuming that they don't rest him. You're still expecting him to play around 30 minutes or so. And then behind him, it's just the same thing we've been saying about Washington for weeks now. It feels like literally everybody else in the rotation is playable, and none of them stand out as like legit top tier options. Denny Avdija has been playing really well off the bench, giving you 28 to 30 minutes. 5,300 seems pretty much the correct price for him, maybe a little bit cheap. Rui certainly has a ceiling at 4,600. So does Kispert at 4,100. But just none of these guys really stand out. So kind of, the same groups as I talked about yesterday. I don't want Porzingis and Gafford together. I wouldn't want Satoransky or Smith together. Probably don't want more than two of, I don't know why you'd be playing three Wizards anyway, but wouldn't want more than two of like the Avdija, Rui, Kispert group.
Okay. I don't know what his assist prop is, but I'll go right back to that again today if it's where it was yesterday for Thomas Satoransky. Just been killing the overs on the assist props for Washington because they don't really have anybody else there that's a quality playmaker, assuming that Kyle Kuzma's out and he's expected to sit. So waiting on that. If you get 4.5 again or whatever it was the other day, it might have been even 3.5 for Satoransky. Definitely a good spot to hit. I'll have the betting video up at 2:00 too on the Odd Shopper channel. All right, let's keep going. Miami and Boston. Another really low scoring projected game. Miami 5-point dogs. Duncan Robinson added to the injury report. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. This is just one where, like, assuming Butler and Adebayo and Lowry and all of these guys are in, and there's no reason to believe they won't be. There's just nothing that stands out. Boston's a good defensive team. This could be a fun game to watch between two teams that could meet deep into the postseason. But from a DFS standpoint, I don't like Miami even a little bit today.
No, I mean, it's like the obligatory. You're not going to be shocked if Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo give you a big game. But
sure.
Yeah, I don't like the matchup. I don't like the pricing, really. I think they're priced pretty much correctly. I don't think much stands out here outside of, if you're playing 150 lineups, you're going to sprinkle in a little bit of Bam and Butler here and there.
I'm with you. Now, Boston's a little bit different here. We can get into this and kind of break this down. But Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both probable, by the way. So there's that. But like I said, Boston over the last month is playing at the second slowest pace in the league. It just makes Miami not great. Miami bottom 7 in pace. Boston top 3 in defense. Miami 8th. Overall, just really not that appealing. Robert Williams is out with that meniscus tear. But now, what are you really opening up with everybody else back for Boston? Grant Williams priced up. Even like Daniel Tice is priced up, but Horford's back today anyway. So and it's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Boston is just exactly what we just said about Miami.
Right.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously they're very talented. They're capable of having big enough games to justify their prices, but they're priced correctly on an 11-game slate where you're going to find plenty of guys that aren't. The matchup's not very appealing. And as a whole, like you're just getting a team that, like you said, they've gotten more expensive because of guys being out. Now you're getting those guys back. And, pretty much whenever that happens, you get a pretty unappealing team. One thing I did forget to mention from Miami, Max Strus did start over Duncan Robinson last game. He's only 3,400. He played 30 minutes in that game. If he's in the starting lineup again, I don't mind getting there, but it's also the type of value play that as stuff opens up, probably gets pushed down the board.
Okay. Arca says, am I crazy for wanting to target players off the bench playing against OKC and Portland? Yeah, on an 11-game slate, absolutely. I think you're crazy.
I mean, it depends who we're talking about.
Well, I'm not. No, if you're talking about off the bench, there's a big misconception. Like the sixth man, like key role bench players suffer more than starters in big blowouts because they
yeah. So like
I'm assuming he's talking about like deep bench blowout run guys.
Right. Yeah. If that's what he's talking about, then yeah, completely. I'll say if we're talking about like Donovich off the bench or something, then sure. But that kind of has nothing to do with OKC or Portland anyway. So
no, yeah, I mean, Bogdanovich is more a starter than he is a bench player in terms of just overall role.
Right. Yeah. Assuming that that's what he meant and that you're right. Yeah, you're crazy for trying to grab guys off the bench.
Yeah. Plus, then you'll have Portland go out there and keep it close through three quarters. Like it's just, yeah, it's who knows. It's crazy, man. This might blow your mind. So the best team against the spread this season is the Oklahoma City Thunder in the entire league. They're 46-25-4 against the spread.
That's crazy.
Right? On the road, they're 27-11 away from home. Just so not. Granted, the spreads are huge, but still. Best team against the spread this year is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, let's talk Minnesota and Toronto then. It should be a close game, 229.5 total. Toronto's laying 3 points at home here, but we'll kick it off with Minnesota first. Another team that is largely healthy outside of Jaden McDaniels, but you have seen some of these price points come down to, I guess, more palatable spots. Maybe they're decent tournament options, like Russell's at 6,600, Edwards at 73, Towns is at 96. Beverly continues to be a decent, just kind of plug-in option if you need him at sub 5K. But I think another one of those teams where you're not prioritizing them, but if you end up with a few of these guys, as you were saying, with like a Butler type, you'd be okay with it, even though they're probably a bit more appealing than Miami, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it is similar, but they are just a bit more favorably priced than Boston or Miami. 7,300 for Edwards, the type of upside he gives you. D'Angelo Russell at only 6,600, likely to play 30 to 32 minutes, over a fantasy point per minute guy. So pretty decent price there. Towns under 10K is always at least somewhat appealing. Jalen Noel at 3,500 you could use as a value option, at least until better stuff opens up. So I think as a whole, Minnesota's a little bit underpriced. Beverly at 4,900 as well. But it's not like there's one specific guy that I'm looking at and saying like, oh yeah, I think this is very clearly the best play. It's more so I just think as a whole, they look pretty good, and I'll be getting to all of them. Looking right now at the ownership, Edwards leads the way at 13% on DraftKings. Towns is at 11, Beverly's at 11, Noel's at 8, Russell's at 6. And their optimal lineup percentages are basically about the same. So it's just a good team to target across the board.
Okay. And no, Arca, still no. Like the Pelicans are fighting for a play-in game, and Atlanta still needs to win too. Like, no, you don't overthink that.
He mentioned Okongwu specifically. Sure, but like Okongwu's playable just because he's 3,500, and in his normal role, that's a pretty decent price tag.
Right.
Like if the game blows out, sure, maybe he gets a couple of extra minutes, but like that's still not why you're like, if he were like 4,500 or something, you still wouldn't be playing him.
Right. Yeah, he's just decent. But what I'm saying is though, right, like you don't want to play this. You don't want to overthink it and start playing everything for a blowout, or play it for this or for that reason or this reason or whatever. That's all. Where was I at? Oh, Toronto. Toronto's kind of interesting. I'm still not convinced that Van Vliet's back to his normal self, and we won't need to worry about that today, really. Uh, really, when you look at this, OG Anunoby is probably a little bit too cheap still, at least on DraftKings, coming in at 5,700. He went in his return. He played 26, then he played 28 minutes, and then he played 40 minutes, Adam. So I think it's safe to say that Anunoby's back to full capacity here. And if that's the case, I know it was an overtime game, but still 35 minutes coming off a 28-minute game, 35 plus minutes, which we can expect nightly from this Nick Nurse starting lineup, is pretty appealing at 5,700. And Minnesota plays at the fastest pace in the league.
Yeah, Anunoby's the only guy on Toronto really pulling ownership on DraftKings at 15%. I think that makes sense. You know, like you said, he's just a little bit underpriced, given that we're expecting him to play full minutes. He's only 5,700. He's averaged 0.89 DraftKings points per minute this season, so it's not like he's a bad point per minute guy. I think Gary Trent may be a little bit underpriced too, just for his upside and the fact that he has shooting guard, small forward eligibility. He's averaged 0.85 DraftKings points per minute this year. Obviously, his usage takes a big hit when Fred VanVleet's in, but if Trent's knocking down shots, he still can have those big games. So I think that Anunoby and Trent look like the most favorably priced guys, and then Siakam, VanVleet, and Barnes are sort of in the like Jimmy Butler category of they can have big games, and if I get there a little bit, that's fine, but they don't really stand out as much.
Jorge, thank you for the super chat. Said, would you prioritize to have it in the same lineup for DK Slate, Luka, and Nikola? So I'm assuming Jokic, despite them being expensive, and it will leave $4,700 average. I haven't made lineups. I would say no on an 11-game slate, but I have no idea. The answer might be yes by 5 o'clock.
Right. Yeah. So the way I would answer it is I never go in like trying to make that happen. If it happens, it happens. Like it just means there's a lot of value on the slate. But the answer, like you were saying, it ends up coming down to how much value there is. Right now, it's probably pretty difficult to get there and have lineups that you like. If by lock we've gotten 3 teams that have decided to rule out 6 different guys, then it's going to be really easy to do that. So yeah, how much value there is dictates the answer, but also from a process standpoint, I think you open yourself up to making a lot of mistakes if you're going in saying like, I need to have both of Doncic and Jokic, instead of sort of letting projections and letting the slate make that decision for you.
So just like jamming 2 high-priced guys and figuring it out around them doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right.
But like you said, that could be the optimal way to go based on what we get. So.
Right, yeah. Like if I start building lineups and I notice that, I'm just getting one of Luka or Jokic everywhere, I'm not going to say like, oh man, I really want both.
Right.
I need to change this up.
Right. How do I rework this? Yeah.
Right. And similarly, if I am getting both, I'm certainly not going to be like, oh, I don't want both of these guys together. Like it's just let the projections, let what the slate gives you dictate what you're doing there.
You know where you can play both of these guys together and easily? Over at No House Advantage, because unlike your traditional DFS sites, they have taken DFS and made it into player prop contest. Really a nice concept here. You're getting the overs, the unders, right? And what you're doing is building lineups with them. No salary cap, no juice on the over, the under, just taking props over or under. So you want to take Nikola Jokic over points and Jokic and Doncic over assists. You can throw them both in. The one you like at the top of the lineup, or the one you like the most, goes at the top of the lineup. The prop that you're least confident in, but you got to get it in there, goes at the bottom. More points to the ones you like most, less points to the ones you are least confident in. And when you sign up and use the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO, all new users, all of them, get $25 when they sign up. You have mass entry capability, big prize pools over there. And, well, this is the best part. We have No House projections and the optimal lineup tool, totally free, 365 days a year, over at awesemo.com that you could take advantage of. We have our player props tool. We have oddshopper.com, all of them free. Compare them against the props at No House Advantage, which are static. They do not change throughout the day, regardless of news. So find the edge there, especially using our projections to give you that edge that you're looking for. Use the promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. Get your $25 and download the app in the App Store, Google Play Store, or just simply go to nohouseadvantage.com if you prefer to do it that way. No House Advantage, sponsor of the Strategy Show. Get over there. All right. What's up next? We got 5 down, 6 to go. Charlotte and the New York Knicks, 223.5 total. Charlotte is laying 2 on the road here. Well, let's just dive into the Hornets then, Adam. Is anybody in this same range that we've seen like their prices just don't change at this point? Interesting for Charlotte.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the same thing every day now
Every
for
week.
Charlotte.
It feels like we're talking about an every 5-day pitching rotation,
Right.
and then the same matchup.
Yeah, exactly. LaMelo Ball's got a really high ceiling. He doesn't stand out as the best option in his price range. He's certainly not the worst. He's not going to get a ton of ownership as a result, and so he looks good in tournaments. Not somebody that I'm likely to just be jamming into a huge percentage of lineups, but not likely to get much ownership, and averages around 1.3 DraftKings points per minute. So always fine getting him in tournaments. Right now, he's projected for about 5% ownership with a 9% chance of being optimal on DraftKings. Beyond him, it's sort of the same thing, just at different price ranges. Miles Bridges, Terry Rozier, even Plumlee at 4,400. Like, these guys are all capable of pretty drastically beating those price tags if things break their way. But on average, they're just kind of correctly priced.
I'm going to throw something out there that is in complete disagreement with pretty much all of our ownership and everything else there. But I can't help but look at Mitchell Robinson and get pretty excited about some tournament appeal here, just given the matchup. I mean, Charlotte defensively in the front court particularly is just so bad. They play fast. They can't limit rebounding. They can't limit scoring to big men specifically. Low usage player in Robinson. I get all of that, but played 35 minutes last game. He has that upside to get a lot of run, and he's projected for 1% ownership in this matchup.
Yeah, I love Robinson in tournaments as long as the ownership is low. He's just like the prototypical guy that you want, type of guy that you want in tournaments. Like,
right.
His playing time is really volatile because like he gets in foul trouble frequently enough to lose minutes. That keeps his price tag down. But if this game's competitive and he's not in foul trouble, there's no reason you can't get him north of 30 minutes. He's around a fantasy point per minute guy on average, has a really good matchup here against Charlotte. And because the price tag is a little expensive for his medium projection, you're just not going to get ownership there. But there's so much volatility in the playing time. Like, when his medium projection, you can't really project him for more than like 28 minutes because he just doesn't get north of that often enough. But in those games where he gets 34, you're talking about an extra 6 minutes for somebody that averages a fantasy point per minute. Plus, if he gets those extra minutes, he's probably playing well. And so you're talking about even more production potentially. So I'm with you. In tournaments, I think Robinson makes a ton of sense.
He's like the Francisco Liriano of the NBA. Like, when Francisco Liriano, I know you know what I'm talking about, would come out there, and you could tell within the first 3 batters he faced, whether it was going to be a good day or a bad day. And if it was bad, you just turn it off and you don't watch because he's not going to get there. With Mitchell Robinson, you can usually just tell early what kind of day it's going to be. And even if it's decent, you probably don't want to watch anyway because it's too painful.
Yeah, exactly. That not a bad comparison. You always, like Liriano, you're at either -5 or like +10 after the first inning.
Out of the gate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like Robinson, it's kind of like if he doesn't have 20 fantasy points in the first quarter, it's probably not going to be his night. But he does it, just often enough where he's always appealing at low ownership.
And it speaks to what you're saying too, is embracing the volatility. Anytime you play Liriano, you're embracing the fact that you may get a negative and he might not make it out of the first.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to get to anything else for the Knicks then up top with like Barrett or Burks?
I think the price tag on Barrett is pretty reasonable, especially considering he has point guard and small forward eligibility. He's 8,100 on DraftKings. He's getting 15% ownership. I understand why. I think that makes some sense. Burks at 6,200 is fine. Kind of surprised he's getting as much ownership as he is, but it is a good matchup. And the same can be said for Randall at 9,300. I don't mind getting there. He's, I guess, in the like LaMelo Ball category.
Jordan, Chick-fil-A breakfast stinks. You enjoy
that's
it?
That's a bad take.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody have that take.
It's not good. I love Chick-fil-A. Love Chick-fil-A, right? Those dry ass biscuits in the morning are not good.
You don't get those. You don't get the biscuit.
What do you
got to get the chicken minis. It's like little. You get those, Adam? It's like a little Hawaiian roll. They put like honey on it, and it's like, and they put the little chicken nugget in it. So good.
Nah, Dude, give me an Egg McMuffin any day with a hot hash brown or a
I'm with you there.
Wendy's. Yeah, dude, Wendy's breakfast baconator,
Oh,
unreal.
oh God.
Oh my God, is right. But that was they're delicious. I'm telling. Oh, nah, Chick-fil-A breakfast is rough, man. Daryl Ward apparently has equity stake in Chick-fil-A because this dude is pissed off right now.
Somebody said that's a Josh level take.
The breakfast just isn't good. I mean, look, if you're a fan of the biscuit that falls apart before it even reaches your mouth, I can understand why you would enjoy Chick-fil-A.
No, it's the chicken minis though.
So what are they? What are the chicken minis?
Jordan, you can describe it.
Because the chicken on the
It's
biscuit
like
sucks.
the chicken.
That's all
I
I got.
completely agree. The chicken biscuit is not great.
So maybe I'm a little off base.
It's like the
Maybe
new.
we can find a common ground.
It's like the Nature Valley of like chicken sandwiches. Just falls apart everywhere. But the chicken mini is like a the chicken mini. The chicken mini is like a Hawaiian roll, and then there's like a chicken nugget inside of it, and it's like sweet on the top. They put like honey or something on the top of it, and it's so good. You could dip it in sauce. Fire, super good. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. But you agree the biscuit's not good.
I've never had it.
The Nature Valley take is great, Jordan. I eat them over the sink. I swear to God, I tried to eat one in my office the other day and I had to vacuum.
Wait, so how many times have you gotten it, considering how passionately you dislike it?
Twice. I thought the first time it would be better, or the second time would be better. Maybe I just got a bad batch. But I tried the biscuit and it was shit. So I'll go for the chicken minis next time. But like, I'm sorry if you don't think an old fashioned Egg McMuffin and hash brown and with a coffee or an orange juice is good, you're crazy.
Yeah, it's just the classic.
And you got to do it with sweet and sour sauce. Don't knock it. Try it. They look at me like I have 7 heads when I ask for sweet and sour for breakfast. Like the one day the woman just put 5 sweet and lows in my bag. They have no idea at all.
Were you drinking coffee, or was that like for your orange juice?
I didn't get coffee.
I know you didn't ask for it. I'm saying, like, what did she think you like?
Exactly. Right.
She thought sweet and sour was weird, but then she thought sweet and low was the answer. What was the sweet and low for?
Right. She was. I think I put her brain into a blender asking for sweet and sour with the Egg McMuffin. Oh, dude, but the hash brown or the Egg McMuffin and sweet and sour, bang.
Yeah. And I do give a slight edge to the sausage McMuffin over the Egg McMuffin, but I like.
You're both. A sausage. Okay, I'm an Egg McMuffin. I'm a basic.
I like both, but yeah,
I'll do both for sure. You know what I've never eaten though, and we got it. Actually, we're doing okay on time. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to remind you that you gave me the like.
We're actually not doing that bad.
Talk today.
Yeah, we're not doing that. You know what? I've never had a McGriddle.
I think I did once by accident because they like gave me the wrong thing and I was already driven away, so I just ate it. But yeah, and I don't even know for sure if that's what it was. But other than that, neither have I.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try that honey chicken croissant. I tried the hot honey sandwich from Wendy's the other day too. That shit was good. What's the best chicken sandwich? And then we'll move on. I mean, let's be real. Popeye's chicken sandwich is legitimately as good as they say it is.
I've still never had it.
Oh, the spicy chicken sandwich is good. It's good. Popeyes has arguably the worst service anywhere ever. It's just a shoddy operation, but the chicken sandwich is banging.
Yeah. I don't know. I eat fast food so infrequently. I don't even especially like for lunch. I don't have an answer.
I do it like once, probably every 2 weeks, but I eat very healthy outside. I do like I was telling you, kind of the 80% rule. As long as 80% of my meals are good, then I can do whatever I want for the other 20.
The only time I eat fast food, and it's almost always Taco Bell, is if I'm like when I'm driving like to my mom's, so it's like a 45-minute drive. I'll just like stop and get food just so I have something to do in the car for like 10 minutes.
Taco Bell's good. Chicken quesadillas.
Yep.
They got rid of the caramel apple empanada, which was a crime.
Never had it. I don't go to. Yeah, I don't. I pretty much always just get the chicken quesadilla and a taco. I don't go too far away from that because I don't like tomatoes, and they put that shit in everything.
You don't like tomatoes?
No.
Not me neither. Not a big tomato guy. Become a big. I enjoy the sliced pickle now. On a. I used to ask for no pickle. Now I'm happy if they give me extra on a burger or
Yeah,
a chicken sandwich.
they've kind of grown on me, and I think tomatoes might kind of be growing on me too. I keep the last couple of times that they've been on something and I didn't notice it until I bit into it. It was more so oh, there's a tomato there. That's not bad, but I'll still take it off as opposed to
right.
get
It's
this out
not
of
bad,
my
but I
mouth.
don't enjoy it like I would without the tomato.
Right. Yeah,
It's
it used
also
to be though. It
ridiculous.
used to be if I ate a tomato, it was getting spit out.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And it's ridiculous that I have to. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm a big pickle guy. Can't even say that with the way chat would react to that. They just go off the rails. Ghetto farm boy Laffy, wait till your kid gets older, you'll start eating more fast food. Nah, man, I don't want that shit is awful. Even when I eat it, I think I told Adam this the other day because Adam and I both trying to get in better shape. We talk about it once in a while. And I was saying, ever since I started eating healthier, only drinking water or black coffee, ever since I started working out more and everything, I've noticed that if I eat fast food, I immediately feel like I'm dead afterwards. And it's very noticeable.
Yeah. Weirdly, Taco Bell's the only fast food place, and this goes back to college, that I can eat and not feel like I'm dead.
Yeah, but McDonald's, if you have a double quarter pounder with cheese, you don't move for the rest of the day.
Right. Yep.
At all. Chick-fil-A, I guess, isn't terrible, but yeah, certain ones McDonald's.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A doesn't make me feel bad either.
Yeah, McDonald's, you've just been poisoned.
Right.
And then you go back. All right. Did you where you got past the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Atlanta and OKC here. We're still waiting on Danilo Gallinari and DeAndre Hunter. Look, we couldn't go an entire show only talking basketball, right? That would be out of character. And some people might get upset. Trae Young, Okongwu is somebody you were talking about earlier, just as a decent value play. Granted, if more value comes out on this slate, and it will, I'm telling you right now, it 100% will. Okongwu will not be 12% by the time this slate starts. And then Capella's 6,500 with Collins done. So any thoughts? Now that we still have no idea what we're going to get out of Gallinari or Hunter, if they're going to be
one follow-up, because do you consider Chipotle fast food?
Dude, I asked my wife that the other day. I get tired after eating that, but the burritos are 900 calories, man.
Right. Yeah. So to me, I think there's a distinct class between Chipotle and your, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A.
Yes, but it's not Ruth Chris.
Right. Yeah. It's not a great meal or anything, but I don't consider it fast food. Otherwise, Chipotle obviously is my favorite fast food place.
Sure. I mean, I don't beat myself up over it. I almost convince myself that it's not fast food in the same sense. The steak, it's actual, because I get the steak burritos. It's steak, right? Justine gets the burrito bowls, and that's definitely not fast food in the general sense. But no, I think you're right. But I get
fast casual is right. It's
fast that works. Yeah. But the what's the queso blanco? Oh my God, good stuff. The beans on there, it's white, right? You just do it all up. Did Adam freeze on it? No, he didn't. I thought you froze for a second.
No, I was reading something that Chris sent me.
What do you get from Chipotle?
Usually burrito bowl with chicken and steak.
Oh, you go with the bowl.
Yeah, okay. I'm probably 50-50 between that and the burrito.
Those burritos must be you could use them as jailhouse weights or weapons. They're heavy. Have you ever ordered for more than one person, burritos, and they give you, because I just do the order now and I drive through the window. It's beautiful.
I just get it delivered.
Yeah. Okay. But for me, I'm not doing that because the closest Chipotle is not that close. So I just go when I'm in the area.
Sure.
If you have anyone that does Chipotle knows it. You have two burritos in a bag, they hand it to you. You're like, oh shit, that's heavy.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
What do you, okay. Where do we,
Evan Fournier's out.
What's up?
Evan Fournier is out.
Oh, okay. Did you want to revisit that?
Yeah. So it probably makes Quickly look a bit better. I don't know who will start in his place. You could certainly get kind of anybody. You could get Quickly. You could get, just kind of anybody. Grimes is out too, so it won't be him. Obviously, you could get McBride, but Quickly probably plays more minutes now at 5,200. That starts to look pretty good.
Last thing here, and then we'll get through these games. Jojo brought up a good point. More of an observation or an assumption, but how far away is Chipotle from you?
I don't know for sure where the closest one is. I know at most it's a mile.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was hoping it wasn't like a block down the road and you're getting delivered. Would
No,
you?
no.
Would you?
Um, for a block, probably not.
What about 2 blocks in the summer or in a nice spring day?
No, you know what I do if there's like a place that I know is like a few blocks away is I just order from one that's further away.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because I feel like,
Is this an optics thing?
yeah, it's an optics thing. I can, just not know that that one is 3 blocks away, and that's why I
I
ordered
can't
delivery.
wait till someone drops it off and he's like, dude, there's one 3 blocks away, right?
Be like,
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
I had no idea. I just moved here.
Yeah. You should just be like, listen, I got this, pal. I know what I'm doing here. All right. Atlanta and OKC. Do we have anything that we want to talk about with Atlanta outside of the like obligatory Trae Young is fine, Clint Capella's fine?
No, I mean I think they both look very good. I think at their prices. Beyond that, you get to Bogdanovich, Gallo, Hunter, Herter. Like those guys are all I think pretty neutral plays. We kind of already talked about Okongwu, but I think between Capella and Okongwu, I play more Capella. But in non-Capella lineups, especially if better value doesn't open up, I do think $3,500 Okongwu is underpriced.
All right, Teo Maledon, and with OKC, we still don't know if Trey Mann's going to play either. Like that's kind of makes that can make things interesting, but this team isn't as good as they were last time out. Overtime against Portland, it was insane. It was that last game of the night, but you're still going to be getting some Maledon, some Pogačevski, and then I don't know if Trey Mann plays or not, but he's up to 6K now.
Yeah, so if Mann is in, he looks pretty good at 6K, assuming he's going to play like 32 minutes or so. Pogačevski at 6,700, Roby at 6,200. All those guys look fine. Even Teo Maledon, like the price tag clearly has jumped to 5,700, but I still don't mind getting there. He was just so wildly underpriced previously that he's still a pretty solid option. Obviously, there is more risk at 5,700 than there was at 4,500, but still projected for 29% ownership. Only has like an 11% chance of being optimal right now. So that's not ideal, but we also haven't talked about many guys in this price range that we really like. So I think that's probably contributing to the ownership as well.
Okay. Let's talk about Sacramento and Houston. The whole Alex Len thing, I think, is actually interesting here. Do you think Damian Jones, if Alex Len sits again, can get like 30 plus minutes again?
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, I would think he's getting to around 30 typically anyway.
Anyway, right. But I'm saying, with Sabonis out, the whole, they're down, and they Holmes is out for the year. They don't really have many center options. It's just it's a thought, because last game we saw Damian Jones only play 25, but they got smoked. He was fine. He was a fantasy point per minute guy there. But what do you think this rotation looks like tonight? And should we be paying for Davion Mitchell, given how he's playing like 40 minutes in regulation right now?
Yeah, I really like getting back to Sacramento tonight. Obviously, we kind of took the night off with them the other day when they played Miami, but totally different spot here against Houston. Damian Jones at 4,800, I think still looks pretty good. Like you said, he's around a fantasy point per minute guy. You're typically going to get like 26 to 30 minutes. Last game with Len out, they used Keta off the bench. He played 15 minutes. You got a little bit of Trey Lyles at center as well. But, in the spot, I still like Jones at that price tag. Davion Mitchell at 7,600, I think is more than fair given how many minutes he's playing. He's a fantasy point per minute guy without Fox, Halliburton, or Sabonis on the floor this year. About a 24.5% usage rate, assist percentage in the mid to upper 20s, and a good matchup against Houston. So I like getting right back to him. Barnes at 5,900, Lyles at 5,700, DiVincenzo at 5,300, I think are all reasonable as well. I put them a little bit behind Mitchell and Jones, but certainly still playable. And then even, Metu at 3,900, played 26 minutes last game. That I think it has the potential to be pretty volatile. Like you could certainly get some games where you get 20 to 22, others where you get 26, but at 3,900, there's a very high ceiling for him as well.
Okay. 3 games to go. Well, actually, no, we got to hit on Houston first. So no Christian Wood, no Schroeder, no Eric Gordon, and then Şengün's questionable here. So what would that mean? Just KJ Martin, more minutes for KJ Martin. this team's really hard right now, not knowing Şengün's status, but it's a good matchup. Two bad teams that play at elevated pace, 231.5 total. How are you breaking down Houston right now?
Yeah, I mean, the Şengün news obviously is huge. He didn't play in the fourth quarter last game because of that injury, but he played 29 minutes through the first three quarters. So if he's in, he's going to look good at 6,900 in a good spot playing without Christian Wood. If he's out, then I assume you're getting more KJ Martin. Garuba was in the rotation last game for like 14 minutes. Don't know, if they would give him more here or not. But KJ Martin is not a bad fantasy point per minute guy. He's only $3,600. So even if Şengün is in, I think Martin is actually a decent value option. If he's out, I think Martin looks even better because more minutes just open up. Similarly, I think you can go to Josh Christopher for some value here as well at 3,900. Not a great point per minute guy, but he's around, I think, like 0.8 to 0.9 fantasy points per minute, likely to play into the mid 20s. Porter's got a very high ceiling at 7K. Jalen Green has a high ceiling at 6,500. And then even Jae'Sean Tate at 4,500. Isn't a bad value, and he's someone else that I think would benefit if Şengün is out, just because not only is there more production to go around, but it should help to solidify his minutes. Like if Şengün is in, you can possibly see KJ Martin play over Tate down the stretch. If Şengün is out, it's more unlikely that happens. It's more likely you just get both of them.
I know you guys have, a lot of you guys have already signed up for this, but you got opening day coming up in like a week for MLB, and we still have the promo code Trout, or just go to awesemo.com/promos or click the link in the description. Much easier than any of that. Or the one that Jordan can throw in the chat right now. 25% off the entire season, long season baseball, entire season, 25% off. That's $80 off the top. You got player projections, top stack tool, you got the top pitchers tool, ownership projections, lineup builder. If you want to get the Fantasy Cruncher add-on, you can do that as well. All of that stuff, 25% off all the way through the 11th of April. So take advantage of that. Get in on it. Get 25% off the top. Use the promo code Trout at checkout. Honestly, I would just click the link or go to awesemo.com/promos. Make it a whole lot easier on yourselves. All right. Anything else for Houston here?
No, I think it's just a team that across the board has a lot of good plays. I mean, I guess I didn't mention Garrison Matthews at 3,200, but certainly in the conversation as well as far as value plays.
Okay. Memphis and San Antonio. Grizzlies 5.5 point favorites, 233 total. Obviously, we know there's no Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr., however, remains questionable. The prices, you're starting to see salaries rise a little bit, but it's not even as much that as it just, you're always trying to figure out which one of these guys it's going to be. Is it going to be Bane? Is it going to be Brooks? Steven Adams will pop off from time to time. DeAnthony Melton off the bench. Tyus Jones, though, 5,700, should get 30 plus minutes. Any real priorities for the Grizzlies?
I think Jones is the closest thing to a priority. Same price point as Theo Maledon. Kind of mentioned that there's not a ton to love in that price range. So I expect that you'll see some ownership there. Right now, we have him at like 16%. I do think that you should pay attention to him versus Maledon. I don't think that Theo Maledon should be twice as popular as Tyus Jones. I think they're both good plays, though. Beyond that, if Jackson's out, you do get a little bit more usage for Bane. You get more playing time for $4,400 Kyle Anderson. If Jackson's in, him and Bane still certainly have high ceilings, but they're also priced for it. Dylan Brooks at 6,200 is, I think, still a solid play, but that price tag's come up a little bit as well.
San Antonio, Lonnie Walker Jr. Lonnie Walker the fourth is expected to play in this one. He's been out for a bit of time now. I don't really have much interest in the rest of this team outside of just the general question of DeJounte Murray against Memphis in a fast-paced or high-scoring game that should be remotely competitive. Does he make for a good tournament play, given that he's only getting like 6% right now?
Yeah, 6% projected ownership, 10% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He's just really, really good. He's a little bit less expensive than guys like Luka and Jokic, so potentially you can upgrade another spot in your lineup as well by using Murray. I think he looks very good in tournaments.
Caleb McLean, y'all just eat straight up poison. Goddamn. Well, they're gonna get you one way or another, pal. There's no stopping now. Oh, Quiznos. Yeah, I remember that Quiznos days. I had a Quiznos right by. toasty, man.
I think the only time I ever had it was when I was at Coastal Carolina. There was one near our apartments.
It's actually pretty good.
Sandwiches are definitely the one thing that I like. Once I moved to the city, I kind of stopped ordering from chain places because
because you can get some good stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, around me too. There's just great hoagies and cheesesteaks and stuff around this way. So, yeah, I'm not going to like Wawa for a cheesesteak.
Right.
Phoenix and Golden State Warriors. We got 2 games to go here. We'll talk about Phoenix first. So the Suns, what's the spread on this one? 4.5. Yeah, 4.5, 224 total. Cameron Johnson's doubtful. JaVale McGee is out. And by the way, 500 people watching, hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Greatly appreciate you guys. And we're like 30 subscribers away from 75,000. If you're hanging out and still, oh my God, that sneeze was insane, Jordan. And you're still,
oh, you're watching him.
No, the face.
Yeah.
It looked like he just took like a couple Will Smith shots to each side of the face back and forth. Do you want to get to Phoenix at all?
I think Chris Paul at 8K still looks fine. I think Ayton looks okay at 6,900. Booker clearly gives you a massive ceiling, but I think it's a little bit more difficult to get to that price tag. I would throw him in like the LaMelo category where nobody's going to be surprised if Devin Booker breaks the slate, but I think he's pretty much priced correctly. I think the only 2 guys that look a little bit mispriced are Paul and Ayton.
That's simple enough. Golden State Warriors. Then, like I said, some of these teams you're just really not going to need to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, and I think Golden State is kind of one of them. You know, Jordan Poole's up to 8,200. You have Clay playing. Either of those guys can certainly go nuts, but I think they're both priced about where they should be, if not a little bit overpriced. Same for Wiggins. Green at 5,800. You know, minutes are slowly getting there, but not like he's, a high usage guy or a great point per minute guy or anything. So not a lot from Golden State.
And not a particularly great matchup either.
Right.
I mean, I don't hate Jordan Poole even at that price, just because, since Curry in games without Curry, he's still averaging like 12 potential assists, even alongside Dre, he's getting there and his usage is high. He chucks up a ton of threes. So if he gets hot, you're going to get some big games out of him, but it's still a bit pricey. All right. Last game here. Before we do, shout out to sit back, relax, Breaks of God. It's breaksofgod.com, fantasy sports fans. What if you caught a break with the potential to net a couple $100,000 with less than $100 investment? Well, we got great news because breaksofgod.com is the place to catch that break. Breaks of God, latest sports card collecting trend to catch fire in America. And it's how sports card collectors of all ages are building high-value card collections without huge investment or risk. It's quickly become a popular and economical way for sports fans to get potentially high-value or rare cards without having to buy a $1,500 box or case themselves. From football to baseball and everything in between, there are many slot options available for under $100 so you can get in on the big money action. Breaks of God box breaks dramatically increase your odds of getting big money sports trading cards for a fraction of the cost of expensive, hard-to-get boxes. And all the cards are broken from sealed premium boxes live on Instagram, and the cards are shipped directly to you for free when the live break is over. Slots are limited, though, so act fast. And to learn more about how you can hit big money cards and get 30% off your first break, go to breaksofgod.com/A30. That's A30, like Awesemo, breaksofgod.com/A30, and get 30% off your first break. Now, chat and Jordan, where should we be following them on Instagram?
At Breaks of God.
Breaks of God. breaksofgod.com. Check it out. All right. By the way, Adam, we don't have time for this today because both have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of games, a lot of work. I had an observation, a thought, a deep thought.
Did you just say we don't have time for this and then just launch?
I'm not getting into it. I'm setting it up so we can get into this some other time. I want Jordan to remind me that I would love to get your opinion on. I would love to do it now, but I know that we'll go down a rabbit hole of just, you know how it works. But Jordan, remind me of this observation next time Adam and I are on a show together, please. Thank you. Look, he's right. This guy's the best. All right. New Orleans and Portland.
What was the observation?
No. I'm not.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
I'm not going to get into that because if I do, I know if I even mention it to you, you're going to start thinking about it and you're going to, I just know where it'll go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that because I was already feeling the pressure of not giving my immediate response.
That's what I mean. We can't do that. All right. New Orleans and Portland. We'll wrap it up with this. New Orleans Pelicans. Keep an eye on Valanciunas. He's questionable today. That could have pretty significant implications here on what we're doing. But do we right now? It looks like have Jonas considered basically out. Do you see the ownership projections?
Yeah, I mean, that's in the morning. I think we normally have when guys are questionable, we have really low ownership.
But I mean, we have Hernan Gomez. At
15%. Well, he's 3,500 too, though. Like he probably.
Yeah,
but he's not even in the rotation really. If
that's what I mean, like 4 minutes last game.
Right.
So all I'm saying is Willie Hernan Gomez becomes the best value on the slate if Val's out, at least right now.
Yeah, assuming that so he becomes a good value one way or the other. Assuming he starts, he becomes clearly like the best value at 3,500. The alternative would be that you get Devontae Graham in the starting lineup with Jackson Hayes starting at the 5. But even if that happens, you're probably talking about like at least
22 minutes,
18 to 20 minutes from Hernan Gomez, if not more.
That would make him really, really interesting. It would also make Hayes, more interesting if he starts at the 5. Does it make
Nance is available too?
What's up?
Nance is also available. So that's
right. That's right. He's been playing like 18 minutes a night. Good point. So we'll see how. Yeah, I still think Hernan Gomez could start, but do you want to get to Ingram or anybody else here?
I think that. So if Joval's in at 8,300, I think that he's in this conversation as well. But McCollum, Joval, Ingram, they're just all, I think, solid tournament plays. Maybe a little bit overpriced if all three are in, but still really high ceilings against a horrible Portland team. It's just one of those situations where New Orleans is going to score a lot of points, and if you take the averages, it makes it look like McCollum, Joval, and Ingram are all like correctly priced. But within one given game, you can certainly just see one of those guys take over.
Rick Anderson, can't lie. LOL, this show has become a talk show, but I still watch. Shaking my head. LOL. I think it's a good combination. We just did 11 games in an hour, and then just threw a little bit in to make it more fun.
And one thing just to mention, because Arcathelza mentioned it in chat just now, he said, forgot about Nance. That's what happened to Hernan Gomez's minutes. Last game, Nance didn't play, and Hernan Gomez still played 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't know. The starting lineup's going to be huge. Like we just got to figure out what's going on with the starting lineup.
Yeah, Hayes was just the backup center for most of last game.
Are we priced out of Portland outside of Keon Johnson now?
Hopefully. But yeah, I mean, price tags have come up pretty drastically. Keon Johnson at 4,700, like you said, I think still looks okay. Still wouldn't be a priority for me. But Eubanks getting up to 8,100, Brandon Williams at 7,400. These guys are all starting to get pretty difficult to get to unless you get another situation where Portland has 8 players. But Greg Brown's probable, Didi Lozada's probable for the first time in all season. So not quite as shorthanded as they were last game.
All right. Anything else? Not bad time for an 11 gamer.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
Appreciate you guys hanging out as always. This has been a lot of fun. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe. What else we got? breaksofgod.com. Use the promo code Trout. Get 25% off the year. And maybe I'll go get how long? I don't have time. Maybe tomorrow I'll run and get me some, would you call them chicken minis or something? Yeah. Chicken minis. All right. I'll give it a whirl. I'll report back. I'll grab some milk tea while I'm at it.
Don't forget whatever that ball combination was.
Oh, the meatball stew or whatever he was drinking.
The balls.
Boba tea.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I'll be sure to get on that as well. All right, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Follow Adam at Ship My Money DFS, me at Lafayette_D. And shout out to your boy Jordan Klein as always for producing this show. Peace. We did it.